Today we're talking all about how much cash you actually need to purchase a home. This is a super important question, especially because the purchase price is not the only thing you need to think about. There's also down payment and closing cost money. Here's how it breaks down, especially for homes here in the Columbia, South Carolina market. First up is your down payment money. This is the portion of the sales price that you pay up front at closing. Your down payment goes directly towards your equity. This is the portion of the home's value that you own and is not borrowed with a loan. The required down payment amount depends on your particular loan type. This is another reason why it's so important to get pre-approved up front. You'll know what loan type you're going with and then how much down payment money you have to have, so you can make sure you have it before you even begin the process. If you go with a VA or a USDA loan, those again are a 0% down payment loan, so no down payment money is needed. If you go with conventional, often that's about 3% down payment. FHA is typically 3.5%, sometimes 5%, 10%, or more. It all depends on the individual buyer, their situation, and their loan type. But many first-time homebuyers here in the state of South Carolina typically put between 3 to 5% down. Okay, so that was your down payment. Now we're going to talk about closing costs. Closing costs are completely separate from the sales price of the home. They are the fees and costs to actually close the deal and get that loan. In South Carolina, closing costs land typically somewhere usually between 2 to 5% of the purchase price of the home. Let me break down for you what's included in closing costs. First up are the lender fees. This is normally going to include an origination fee, which is usually around 1% of the loan amount. Lenders will also often charge an application fee, underwriting fee, and a fee for pulling your credit report. If you, the buyer, decide to buy down your interest rate, then there's also going to be discount points for doing this. So in total, your lender fees are normally somewhere between $1,000 to $3,000, but again, depends on your loan type and your interest rate. A separate fee that your lender is going to charge for you is the fee for the appraisal. The lender is going to order the appraisal at some point while you're under contract. This is typically going to be about $500 to $550 here in South Carolina. Next are the closing attorney and title fees. In South Carolina, the closing attorney is going to charge you a fee for conducting everything involved with the closing and also performing the title work. These fees can normally range between about $600 to $1,200. There's also a title search fee and title insurance premiums. The cost of title insurance just depends on the price of the home. Next are government recording fees and taxes. South Carolina charges a deed recording fee. This is often called deed stamps or a transfer tax. But here in our market, sellers do typically pay this fee. One portion of closing cost fees that people forget about are your prepaid expenses and escrow fees. For example, often you're going to need to prepay for 1 full year in advance of your homeowner's insurance. Plus, your lender may go ahead and collect a couple of months of that insurance payment and your property taxes to begin your escrow holding account with. This can add up to a few $1,000s, but remember, it's your money in your escrow. It's not a fee. If there's a homeowners association in the neighborhood that you're buying, sometimes those associations will charge a small transfer fee from going from one homeowner to the next. There may be some miscellaneous courier fees or even flood certification fees. So when all of this gets tallied up, closing costs can be pretty significant. But do not panic. I know this is a large amount of money, but don't forget there's help. When you submit an offer to a seller, you can ask for the seller to either pay a portion of or all of your closing costs. This is something we can negotiate. If there's down payment assistance programs or grants, you can also use this money towards your closing costs. So to answer the question, how much cash do I really need to buy a home? Maybe just a good safe bet to tell yourself is plan on somewhere between about 5 to 10% of the sales price of the home. Could be less if you use a loan program that allows for down payment assistance or a loan type that requires 0% down. I can connect you in with a great lender and we can all run the numbers and help you figure out if maybe you're a bit closer to that home ownership goal target than what you think. The money part is often the scariest part for first-time homebuyers, but don't worry. Let's talk about it. We'll come up with a concrete plan. You've got this. I've got you. We can definitely make it happen. And here's the deal, guys. I'm here for the long run. Whether you can get that house the year you're wanting or it's a few years away still, I'm here to work with you every step of the way.